Hello, everybody. Welcome to our homeowner webinar series today for Florida Friendly Landscaping. Go ahead in the chat and maybe put your favorite plant this time while we're waiting for everybody to come in. We've got about 2 minutes. So if you would just let us know what your favorite plant is and we can discuss. Nobody so far? How about where you're from? Let's see, Longboat Key and okay, so I almost said somebody's from Sparkleberry Tree, but I get that that's the favorite plant. Let's see, Hillsborough County and favorite plant is Simpson Stopper. Plant list too long. Yeah, it's hard to pick your favorite. Yilin, what is your favorite plant?
Anything evergreen. But to be honest, recently I really like muley grass. Even I see it everywhere. It's just so pretty.
That's a good one. We have Ann Bryan from Alachua County. Hello, Ann. And Joanne Glover. Let's see, Citrus County, bromeliads. I know I kind of mixed it up when I said both place and plant, but see, we've got another minute about to let people in. Plumeria. Let's see, and DeLand, Florida, Jacksonville. Plants that live are your favorite plants. I agree. I agree with that. Let's see. Okay, well, let's get started. It seems like we have a pretty good amount here. Welcome to the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program's homeowner webinar series. We've been doing this since about COVID 2020. It's a series we give every third Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern. My name is Jen Marvin, and I'm the Florida Friendly for Home Landscapes statewide coordinator for the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program. Today we have Yilin Zhuang, right? Okay, giving us an overview of Florida's waters. Your microphones have been muted automatically. If you have a question, this is a little different than last time. Please type them in the Q&A box instead of the chat box. The chat box will stay open because Yilin is very interactive and she'll have some questions for you. But please type the questions in the Q&A box and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. Also, stick around for the end of the presentation for the exit survey. It helps me give you the kind of programming that you'll come and watch and that you like, and lets us know what we're doing, how we're doing what we do. On a related note, in November, many of you have asked me for an Ask the Expert webinar, and in November we will be providing one. What I would like to do is have you during these webinars or at the end during the survey, type in a question that you have that you've been wanting to ask, and I will be able to maybe group those into specific topics that I can have experts on that topic come and talk to you. So if you would do that for me, please, I will start looking at them and finding the appropriate people to respond to your questions. Let's see, our next presentation will be with Brooke Moffis on Tuesday, May 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern on eco lawns and ground covers, which should be very interesting too. So if you would all help me in welcoming Yilin, that would be great. She's going to tell you a few things about herself and then she will go into her presentation. Thank you, Yilin.
Thank you, Jen, for inviting me and for the wonderful introduction. So hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. And today's talk, I know it's a little bit different. So we are not going to talk about the plants, but we are going to talk about something very important to our wonderful plants and also our planet. So my talk today is forest water today and tomorrow. Just like Jen mentioned, my name is Yilin Zhuang. I'm the Water Resources Regional Specialized Agent in IFAS Extension in Central District. I think by now I don't need to give a talk about what extension is. I think you all know what extension is. So my area covers the Central Florida and the North Central Florida. And just like my title, I cover extension programs related to water. It can be urban water, rural water, and agricultural water. But today in this webinar, just want to share a little bit wonderful pictures and some interesting statistics about Florida's water. Without overdue, let's just get it started. When you hear the phrase Florida's water, what other words or phrases came to your mind? So we have the chat box open. So please just put in the chat box. The first word, the first phrase came to your mind about Florida's water. So I know it may take a little bit of time typing. So I see, oh, now it's waterfall. So I see aquifer, springs, rivers, swamps, oceans. It's worth saving. That's great. And I see Everglades, hard water, which is also very true, springs, at risk, conservation, and the streams. So if you think of any other words, feel free just to put it there. Later, I will even put a word cloud, and I will be happy to share with the group. Yeah, I see all the comments are going. Feel free also to screen the chat box, see what others commented that. So now going back to Florida's water. So where do we find Florida's water? Generally speaking, we can find Florida's water when it's above ground, another it's underground. So when it's above ground, we call it surface water. When it's underground, we call it groundwater. So now first, let's look at surface water. So for surface water, just like some of you mentioned, we have rivers and streams. So in Florida, we have about a dozen of major rivers. So these rivers are fairly short, not like Mississippi River, like these well-known rivers, they're not that long. But when you combine them together, it's about 10,000 miles. And in Florida, we also have lakes and ponds. And keep in mind the number I put here, they are natural lakes and ponds, not these constructed ponds. And in Florida, we also have something very unique when it comes to lakes. It's called coastal dune lakes. Why they are so unique? Because they are not everywhere. You cannot find every single country in the world. So there are only a few countries like Madagascar, New Zealand, and in the US. And even in US, again, you don't typically find them. You can find them in Oregon and in Florida. And in Florida, they're still not everywhere. The reason they are very rare, just not that common to find. But you can find it in Whatcom County, which is at the West Panhandle. So they are very unique for several reasons. A, it's very hard to find, and they don't have their certain shape. And even the composition of water, it's always a mixture of seawater and fresh water. So it's always changing. But usually you can find them, it's about 1 to 2 miles to the coast. If you are interested, just go to YouTube, search coastal dune lakes. You can find a lot, very unique geological feature. And for surface water, some of you already mentioned, swamps, wetlands are also a type of surface water. And what's the most famous wetland you can think of? Put it in the chat box, let me know. Not just most famous, actually I'm interested in knowing it's what's the recent wetland you have visited? Because when I say what's the most famous wetland, it's like no wonder it's Everglades. So like every year, 1 million visitors come just to visit Everglades. But have you visited any other wetland in Florida? And of course, Florida is three sides surrounded by water. We also have ocean water. And the surface water, that list goes on and on. We have temperate ponds, and you can also find water in soil moisture. So this list is long. However, most of Florida's water is not above ground. It's underground. So its water is flowing through this Swiss cheese-like structure, rock structure. And that water, like I mentioned, is called aquifer. And we also call it, when water is underground, we call it groundwater, but we also call it aquifers. And most of us probably have never seen groundwater in its natural setting. So this is a picture, it's from Marion County. So if anyone is like to cave diving, so you probably have seen Florida's water in its natural setting. But most people like you and I, we see Florida's groundwater in this format. It's when you turn on your faucets, the water running through your faucets is from groundwater. Groundwater provides almost 95% of water we use for drinking, for bathing, for flushing, more like for household water use. And for Florida's aquifer, so I always like to say it's just like a huge rain barrel. And here I specifically mentioned one type of aquifer, because underground, the groundwater, there are so many different types of aquifer. But the most productive aquifer, one of the most productive aquifer in the nation is called the Floridan aquifer. And the Floridan aquifer is also a major aquifer in Florida. It's vast, south to Miami, north to South Carolina, west to Alabama. You can see how big it is. So the Floridan aquifer, just like huge rain barrel, like collecting all the water underneath and supplying to our human use. And a little bit more like statistics about Floridan aquifer, and to be a little bit more specific here is when we use Floridan aquifer, most of us get water from upper Floridan aquifer. What does upper Floridan aquifer means? So for Floridan aquifer, if it's close to the surface, it's called upper Floridan aquifer. When it's away, like lower than the surface, then it's called the lower Floridan aquifer. So it's more like vertically. So the layer on the top is called upper Floridan. The layer at the bottom is called the lower Floridan aquifer. So it supplies to about 10 million people in the state, and the water withdrawal has increased significantly. And on the water quality side, earlier I mentioned the Floridan aquifer is the one of the most productive aquifer in the nation. And for its water quality, so far, it's still among the best in the nation. However, the nitrate concentration commonly exceed the criteria for water discharging for the springs. Because just like earlier you all mentioned, it's another phrase for Florida's water is springs. And for the springs, its total daily maximum loads is 0.35 million gram per liter. But most springs, the nitrate concentrations are higher than that. And the water quality and the water quantity, sometimes they are also hand by hand. Some water quality issues are caused by over pumping. And because the over pumping, it can change the groundwater flow. It can also increase the vulnerability to contamination. So in next few slides, we will explore how human activities affect Florida's water. So the first question I have here is, see if you know the answer here. What was the water demand in Florida in 2020? So just put it in the chat box. Give me a wild guess of the numbers. You think the water demand, total water demand in Florida. Let me see if anyone put a number in. Oh, you can give a ballpark. You can say million, billion. I like the first answer. Billions of gallons. 100 million gallons, 20 million gallons of wild gas. So any more answers here? I love it, a whole lot. So it's how much water? Like what was the water demand in 2020? So it's 6.5 billion gallons per day. So some mentioned it's billion gallons. That billion gallons of water is only per day. And now let's take another guess. What was the population in Florida in 2020? So any guess here, the Florida population? I see 350 million, but I would think, I guess that's more refer back to the water use. And I see I see one answer here, it's 21 million, 18 million. Yeah, keep your answer going. See if we can find a winner, get really close to that. 21 million is really close, but see if we can get an accurate number. So while you are typing there, just to save the time, I'm just gonna show you the answer here. Oh, I see some answer just popping very close. It's 21.5 million people. And I see someone already commented, it's like 1,000 people move to Florida every day. Actually, that's my question to you here. It's how many people move to Florida every day? We always say the ballpark, about 1,000 people move to Florida every day. So do we know how many people exactly? Is 1,000, it's our wild guess, or we have statistics to show that? So I went to this research conducted by University of Florida Bureau of Economic and Business Research. They publish population change, not just for the state, also for each county. It's every year. So I find this one is the latest from 2020 to 2023, the population change. And you can see the net migration, it's about 1.2 million people. So what does that mean from 2020 to 2023? How many people moved to Florida? So it's 1,083 people moving to Florida every day. So when we say about 1,000 people, it's fairly accurate. I even look at some historical data. Before that, it was more close to 1,000, but now it's a little bit over 1,000. And with all the states, do you have any guess? Oh, excuse me, with all these counties, which counties have the highest population? Some of you may live there. So anyone want to put the answer into the chat box before I show you the data? And I appreciate that everyone interact with me and make it much more fun. And I see Duval, Miami-Dade, because I wasn't very sure what were the top 5. So I searched that. So the top 5, just based on population. The first one is Miami-Dade County. So they have about 12% of the state population. After that, Broward, Hillsborough, Palm Beach, and Orange County. So these are the top 5 counties, like by population size. Then the next question I have for you, because we always mention people moving to Florida, but where do they move in, right? What is the highest population growth county? Do you have any ideas, have any guess? Which county has the highest population growth by percentage? And I see some Lake, Hillsborough, St. Lucie. When I look at data, actually, I was a little bit surprised. So I'm going to show you just in the next slide. The top one is Sumter County. After that, St. John's, Gulf County, Flagler County, and Osceola County. And the Sumter County is where like the majority of their residents live in the villages. And the St. Johns County, it's where St. Augustine is, if you are not familiar where that is. But you see these counties, it's like that wasn't what I was expecting. But these are the top 5 counties. 4 of them actually are in my district. So if you ever curious, just like I was like, all right, I need to find out which county has the lowest population growth. So just for your information, I also put it there. These counties experienced a negative growth, meaning people are moving out of county. So why am I showing you the population growth, like the total population and the population growth? Because population is related to water demand. Here's the graph showing you the water demand from 2015 and the projection to 2040. With the population growth, water demand is expected to grow. And you probably have already seen this picture numerous times, but I really like how they illustrated the population change. This is a study conducted by 1,000 Friends of Florida. So the map or the picture on your left hand is the baseline data, which is 2010. It's 18 million people in Florida. And when you see the map in red means that area is a developed land, and it's green means it's protected land. And the map on your right hand is the projection in 2070. The population will almost double from 18 to 35 million. And now you look at all these red dots or red areas, developed areas. So you start to see the trend. It's in 2010, most red areas are in the coastal areas. And in 2070, you start to see a lot red in inland, particularly along I-75. And as I mentioned, population is related to water use. So with the population growth or population change, this projection shows you Florida's water future. Again, left hand, it's current, it's the baseline, 2010. And right hand, it's a future projection, a future meaning 2070 projection. So the redder this area is, the higher water demand per acre by land use. So if I go back, you look at this map, all these red areas, is particularly in Central Florida, and you look at this water future, water projection, and you start to see more red also in this highly developed area. So because of, and on top of that, not because of that, excuse me, on top of that, and in Florida, we also have this is more like a term, it's called water resource caution areas. So what does that mean? That means this area, either it does not have enough water supply, or it may not have enough water supply in 20 years to meet the water demand without hurting or without harming our ecosystem. And if you look at this map, if it's blue, that means that area is under the water resource caution areas. They don't have enough water. And this area basically is the whole peninsula, the major population where we are in Florida already under this water resource caution area. We already don't have enough water. And now moving on. So for changing population, not only change the water demand, changing population also change the land use. So it's a changing landscape, also changing the waterscape. What does that mean? So I want to show you some pictures with numbers here. So like I mentioned earlier, population change our land use. Over the 14 years of the late 20th century, we lost natural land and agricultural land to developed land. So this is a map I find. This I didn't find it. It's a coworker find it. So this is a map like directly from Google Map. But when you glance it, so you look at that, does that look like two pictures, like two Google Map pictures that you paste together? Like the left hand just look like undeveloped land, and the right land look another picture, typical like neighborhood. But that's one picture. That's one Google Earth picture. So that actually really good. It is well illustrated current land use change. We are losing this natural land and agricultural land for more developed land. But is there any issue with that? What are the primary problem of that? The primary concern with developed land is because of stormwater runoff. So these two pictures may be a little bit pixelated. So I will walk you through so you can see these numbers better. So this is on the left hand, it's more like a natural land. So with natural land, you will have more like water infiltrates into groundwater. So with a rainfall event, only about 10% of runoff and about 50% water will go to groundwater. And with on the right hand, it's the developed land. And with developed land, it will first of all you look at runoff because of these hard surface, so significantly increase the runoff. So for a typical developed land, about 55% of runoff, and the groundwater infrastructure infiltration reduced from 55% to 15%. Primary because of most urban land or developed land, they use impervious surface. So because the impervious surface, groundwater, water cannot infiltrate, cannot reach our groundwater. And because of, not just because of stormwater is one factor of that, like so many reasons. Most of Florida's water are not attaining its designated standard. So what I'm showing you here, if you see the area, it's gray, that means that water body has not met its designated water use. So that designated water use can be anything. It can be for recreation, it can be for fishing, it can be for drinking, it can be for swimming. So it can have different designated uses, but either way, the water body cannot meet that standard. And the recent water quality report released by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, it indicated that more than half of our water bodies have not met its designated water standard. And these primary factors are impairment of nutrients, and then it's bacteria and mercury. And with that much information here, just showing you Florida's water like today and tomorrow, and seeing the maps with the water, like water caution area and water not meeting its own standard. So it's not, because sometimes I get these comments, it's just like, oh, it's just so depressing. Look at our precious water resources and look where they are now. So what can we do? So I always say there are a lot we can do, but always start the first, it's increase your water knowledge. They increase your awareness. So what I put here, I'm going to put into the chat box. So it's a link just to a very simple 10-question water quiz. See how much you know about Florida's water. Because the first step is we need to increase awareness. We need to increase our knowledge. And then we can start to take actions. So I will leave this page here just for a few seconds, you can snap a picture of the QR code, share with your friends. So I always say, just all these are baby steps. No step is too small. We increase our awareness and we share what we have learned to our families and friends. And just we are all part of the solution. And with that, this is my contact information. I'm willing to answer any questions or comments you may have. And thank you.
Thank you, Yilin. Do we have any questions? If so, please put them in the Q&A box. Lots of people saying thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see, we've got about 2 questions. Are all or most municipalities checking for PFAS, lead and mercury in our water?
That's a really good question. So for this, if you don't know, like I'm not sure if you heard of PFAS. PFAS is a type of, it's a group of forever chemicals. So they were used for, because they are like really fire resistant. So we use for fire retardant materials. And the reason they are called forever chemicals, just like its name, very difficult to break it down because the structure, the rings, so it becomes like very impossible to break it down. And also, like I mentioned, the PFAS, it's a group of chemicals, and it's estimated there are about 1,000 chemicals. So recently, a few years ago, EPA has updated the new guidance for PFAO and PFOS. They really lowered the limits. But at this point, state of Florida has not implemented to mandatory test PFAS. Some other states already put PFAS testing and PFAS treatment for municipalities into their regulation.
Okay, let's see. Are they also looking at phosphates in our springs?
They do, but the primary, like look at the nutrient, the primary reason of the nutrient loading is from nitrates.
Okay. How bad are the retention ponds and developments?
So I may need a little bit clarification on what you mean by how bad they are.
Maybe how bad is the water quality, or how?
If it's more like about the water quality, so just going back to this stormwater pond, also it's a fun fact. It's a very, I wouldn't say just unique, but very common practice in Florida. You probably don't typically see that many stormwater ponds in other states.
She actually said contributing to runoff and quality.
All right, thank you for the clarification. So for this stormwater pond, the primary purpose is for flood control. So recent start, a few specialists in UF, they have done more like monitoring the stormwater, like after stormwater pond, the water quality. Is the water quality improved? The short answer is yes, the water quality is improved, but not by that much. So that's what I primarily refer to. It's a traditional stormwater pond. And for Florida, it's also, you start to see more and more, it's a green stormwater infrastructure. So it can be a term like we gardeners use a lot. It's a rain garden. So when it comes to stormwater system, engineer system, we call it a bioretention pond. With different design, different medium can significantly improve water quality.
Okay. Let's see. What teaching materials or exhibits are available to teach the public about water?
What a great question. So they like I know each extension office, they all have like at least one agent will do this kind of public outreach related to water. It may not be specifically just for water, but it will, like how landscape affect the water quality or what we can do. from like a gardener perspective to improve water quality, or from as a farmer, how we can improve water quality. And on top of extension, because you mentioned exhibit, so I know for Florida Museum in Alachua County, they recently finished the water display. It took them almost 7 years in planning. Now they have this like really nice interactive water display. I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot of compliments of that. And of course, and going back to extension, each extension office has their water display to teach public too. So if I can go back to my water matters again, because this Saturday we'll be in the villages teaching residents the importance about water conservation. And the display we use is we use 200 1-gallon water jugs just to illustrate how much water we use per person per day. More like this kind of visual, first a visual impression to get your attention and come to our booth and let's talk and learn how we can protect it.
I've seen it, it's impressive.
Oh, thank you, it's big.
How often is the moisture shutoff law enforced? I'm not sure if you know that or deal with that at all. I believe they're talking about the sprinkler or irrigation law requiring a device to shut off during
the rain shutoff
storms.
device,
Yeah.
I believe it's 1991.
Yeah. Do you know how often it's enforced?
Oh, you mean that?
No.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. And
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
Jen, you probably know more than I do. It's most of them, they don't really.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how often it's enforced or actually who even enforces it. So I can't answer that question either. Let's see, there's a question. We need a good follow-up that can give us solutions and what UF-IFAS would like to see happen at a state level. So they would like a good follow-up on that in the future, I would guess. Okay, how often do we receive a report on what is put into our drinking water? Once or twice a year?
So if you have water utilities, they are responsible to okay, let me go back. It's usually it's once a year you will get your annual water quality report. So either your utility posts online, sometimes they will mail to you, and some utilities maybe by request.
Okay. This is a longer question, but this person, Julia, says, I understand that artificial turf contains PFAS. What is it, PFAS?
Yeah, PFAS.
Okay, sorry. I'm seeing a lot of that in landscapes, even around schools. Is it your understanding that PFAS leach from artificial turf? If so, is UF-IFAS working to bring that to public's attention? I have a comment on it, but please go ahead.
Oh, because this is a really good question. As far as I know, we haven't done, UF-IFAS we don't have extensive research on PFAS at this point, but I know other departments. I was just talking to a professor in environmental toxicology department. Their team have investigated or sampled PFAS in wild animals.
Okay. As far as artificial turf goes, I am not sure what it leaches or how it leaches, but I do know that it contains or it is not Florida friendly, and that is because it has so many other effects on the environment as far as drainage and wildlife. You know, it used to be thought also off-gassing and things like that. It's very hard to get some research on that used in a residential application. So we do have an EDIS on that. If you type EDIS, EDIS, and FFL artificial turf, you will find our information on that. Okay. What does spraying in the yards with pesticide do to the water, especially neighborhood ponds? So many people spray for the bugs around the ponds, and what does that do to the environment?
So I would say it come to runoff. It's when you apply it, when it's
Mhm,
just a time of the year, time of the day. Is that before a rain? And will you irrigate? So it will, like if it's like you apply it and before a
mhm,
rain event,
mhm.
it will wash down. It will become runoff, and also depends on how much you apply, the soil texture, because it can also infiltrate, can leach into groundwater.
Okay.
But this is a very general statement. It's all depends.
Mhm,
Like for for crop management, we say 4 Rs. So it's I know for FFL also use the right
mhm.
plant, right place. So
Yes.
it go back to specific issue. It's really like how much you apply,
Mhm.
what you apply, and where you apply.
Sure. Great. Thank you.
Mm.
One more question. Many of us are master gardeners and may be asked to do presentations. Are there good resources you would recommend that we could use?
Oh, so I will say it's as a US IFAS extension, I always say start from our
Mhm,
Ask IFAS.
mhm,
Because if you go to Ask IFAS, I believe that you can search the Google
mhm,
search UF IFAS, Ask IFAS. It will take you to our previous name called EDIS. And then you type
mhm,
in water, it will show you so many good fact
mhm.
sheets. And then you can even search like water conservation. It can give you more specific practices of what we can do as a homeowner can do to help with the environment.
Yes, I completely agree. Finally, Anne Bryant, or Brian, you would like the print version of the questionnaire. I'm not exactly sure which questionnaire you're referring to, or maybe it's the survey at the end. If you could clarify that. Also, Ann Hudson, it would be wonderful to have a teaching kit developed. So
Nice.
that's that's a
So
go
that's
ahead.
awesome. I love hear that because want to get a little bit more like promo of our Water
Yes.
Matters program. So
Hmm.
for this one, we do that in different like community festivals, and with some student interns help, we have developed these Google Classrooms for
Hmm.
different school age students. So we develop Google Classroom for like elementary, middle, and high. And in development, it's more like a lower grade level. So in each Google Classroom, we include all these interactive like teaching materials. So that's one thing we're developing. And I know some other agents are developing more like online
Hmm.
classes, more towards to adults. But I love this comment. That's awesome.
And the comment about the online survey was the one with the QR code. So the one you're showing now, is there a paper version, I guess is what she's asking.
Yes. Did I put my email address right? Thank you for your interest, Anne. I put my email here. If you can email me, whoever would be interested in that, I will be happy to share a paper survey with you.
All right. It looks like those are all the questions. Yilin, thank you so much for talking to us about water. Obviously, Florida Friendly Landscaping is about teaching people how to landscape and protect Florida's waters, and both quality and quantity. So this is a very big topic for us. And it was very nice to have such a great explanation of that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me. I
No
had
problem.
fun.
Great. Thank you. And to everybody else, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next month.